Chemistry is a branch of science which is concerned with the structure and composition of materials and the changing of one substance into another. So if you think of the clothes that you wear, food that you eat, the gases that you're breathing in, we study the molecules that make up those substances, and we also study how they would react with each other. So Leavenscert chemistry provides us with a good foundational base of a broad range of the topics studied in chemistry. So if you go on to third level, you have a good starting point to study chemistry, and if you just leave your studies at Leavenscert level, you have a good basic understanding of chemistry. Of the topics that you see here, you'll notice that there is an overlap with some of the things we've already studied in junior cycle. So in the case of atomic theory, periodic table, bonding, those sort of things, we would just be expanding on those. Volumetric analysis, you have performed one volumetric analysis already, which would have been the neutralization of your HCl with NaOH. In the titration that you did, your acid-base titration. So we do lots more of titrations under the volumetric analysis section. Chemical equilibrium, then we're looking at different chemical reactions. If we apply a stress to a reaction, how does it respond? So if I was to change temperature, change pressure, how is the equation going to respond, or how is the system going to respond to that stress being applied? Organic chemistry then is the study of all of our compounds of carbon, and we have an option then. Generally we choose option 1, which is the atmospheric chemistry and the industrial chemistry, so looking in detail at a particular chemical plant, what they are producing, what their raw materials are, etc. And of course the atmospheric then is the study of the the greenhouse gases and the ozone layer and all that kind of stuff. So for the chemistry exam, it is 100% written exam paper, so there's no project work or no marks given for your record of your experiments or anything like that. You're given 11 questions on the paper. You have to answer 8 of them, so you do have a good choice. The first three questions are usually based on the experiments. Usually we have one titration, one based on the organic section, and then one taken from the rest of the course. You have to answer at least 2 of those questions, but you can answer 3, okay? And we have a big focus on those experiments as we're working through the syllabus. We do lots of experimental work. So there's lots of experiments in each of the sections of the course. The rest of the other 8 questions are all based on theory. So a good candidate for chemistry then, it seems fairly obvious, but first of all make sure that you like the chemistry as a subject. If you think back to junior cycle science, if you've studied junior cycle science, some of the things that you would have done that overlap with Leavenscert chemistry would be your acids and bases chapter, your rates of reactions chapter, your bonding chapter, atomic theory chapter, you're looking at water, looking at the carbon cycle, looking at the nitrogen cycle, those sort of sections. They are all part and parcel of the chemistry syllabus, okay? Being good at maths gives you an advantage, okay? I would never exclude anyone because they're not doing higher level maths, but it would be an advantage for you because there is a certain maths element to the chemistry, and if you're good at maths, in particular good at algebra and manipulating algebraic equations, so just rearranging them to find the unknown, that would be an advantage. And also there's a good element of experimental work. So if you really disliked that element in junior cycle science, there is going to be a lot of that in senior cycle science as well, okay? So you need to be mindful of that. There are lots of different career areas where studying chemistry would be an advantage at Leavenscert level, and sometimes a prerequisite for third level courses that you may want to take. So it's a good idea to check out the requirements for the course if you have something specific in mind that you'd like to do. If you don't have something specific in mind, it's good to keep all of your options open, so including a science subject in your subject choices is always a good idea. I would just say that the chemistry course is quite concise. It's quite short. You know, the syllabus is quite short in what you need to know, but you do need to know it well. And any student that is willing to work from the first day that you come in 5th year, anyone who is willing to sit down and learn off their definitions and go through their exam questions and really work at the subject from 5th year can do really, really well in chemistry. It has this perception of being a difficult subject. I think what you put into chemistry, you will get out of chemistry. So if you're willing to put in the work, you can do well in chemistry. So it's a good subject to keep in mind if you want to study a science subject and you want to keep options open at 3rd level. It's a good one. If you want to know any more, you can talk to me, Miss Egan. You can talk to any of the science teachers here in the school. If you're not sure if chemistry is for you, it might be a good idea to specifically talk to your junior cycle teacher, the teacher who's had you for 3 years while you've studied junior cycle science, and they might kind of be able to give you an indication of if your talents would lie more with biology or chemistry or perhaps physics or ag science. So they're a good place to start. A good idea is also to talk to the senior cycle chemistry students, to any of the 5th years or any of the 6th years. And just ask them, you know, if you have preconceptions about the subject and you think it might involve, you know, it might be too difficult or it might be too experimental or whatever it may be, talking to those students who are studying at the moment would be a really good idea, and they can give you the best advice on their experiences. If you're thinking that you might need it for 3rd level, it's a good idea to talk to your careers advisor. You know, if you had even if you don't have one specific course, if you had a couple of specific courses, they might be able to advise you that yes, you want to keep on a science, but perhaps the chemistry would be the better science to keep on, just to suit your particular needs at 3rd level. And it's always a good idea to have a chat with your parents as well, or your guardians or whoever is at home, just to see what they think. And just to see, there might be someone at home that has studied chemistry previously and might be able to give you a hand with it as well. Okay, thank you.